Hi guys, I'm back to do another video with Mia. Come here, Mia. Come here. She's like hanging out in there in the little corner. Come here. Good girl. Say hi to everybody. Yeah, say hi. Say hi. So I did say that I was going to be doing a FAQ video regarding the Alaskan Klee Kai, just because I guess the more videos I've been posting of Mia recently, I've been getting more questions about the breed, and I do list a lot of really good websites in the description box of all my videos, but either people are too lazy to read it or they don't want to or whatever. I mean, all the information is there, but I figured I'd make a video of my most asked questions about Mia, just because it's probably easier for people to find instead of going on the websites and reading it themselves. But I do have to say, I'm no expert of the AKK. What I'll be going over is kind of what I learned from Mia, what I learned from the community, because I'm part of the Alaskan Klee Kai like owners groups and stuff like that, and then of course I have my laptop here so I can like look up information to kind of go over what the facts are, I guess. But let me tell you a little bit about Mia. She actually just turned 2 like 4 days ago, right? No, six days ago. Yes, she's running around, sorry about her, but yeah, she turned 2 years old on April 19th. And if you didn't see my previous video, I posted her birthday party I had with her and all her friends. But she is a mini size, so there are 3 sizes to the AKK. There's a toy, a miniature, and a standard. The toy, you would measure at their shoulder from the floor, like where the bottom of their foot is, to up to their shoulder, and that's by inches. And so a toy is up to 13 inches, and then we have a miniature, which is between 13 to 15 inches at their shoulder, and then the standard is 15 to 17 inches. If you have anything over 17 inches, they are considered an oversized Klee Kai. Mia is about 13.25 to 13 and a half. So I would say she's a small mini, because I was hoping she'd be a toy, but she kind of just kept growing a little bit. But yeah, you would have them stand up. Mia, come here. You would have them stand like this, like at a show. She's not really used to it, so she doesn't really know what I'm doing, but when I was measuring her, I would have her stand up straight. Mia. And then I would just measure it right here where her shoulder blades are. But of course you don't want them like hunched and stuff, you want them to stand like normally straight. So Mia is a mini, and she's currently between 12 to 13 pounds. I'm kind of having her like on a diet because she did reach almost 14 pounds at one point, so I do cut back on her food. So now she has a 1/4 cup for breakfast and a 1/4 cup for dinner. But yeah, because you don't want your dogs to become overweight, because I do see a lot of Klee Kai and a lot of dogs in general where their owner kind of free feeds them or overfeeds them, and they become like big old tanks that walk around. But you want to be careful of that. So let's say, I guess a frequently asked question I get is, what's a Klee Kai? That is the breed. The actual name is the Alaskan Klee Kai. I mean, I put that in the title of my videos, and in the description I say Mia the Alaskan Klee Kai, but I still have people asking like, oh, is that a Pomskie, or is that a mini husky, or is that a Chihuahua husky? But no, she is an Alaskan Klee Kai. That is her full breed. They are recognized by the UKC. They are not recognized by the AKC, I believe it is. Let me see. Yes. Yes. So Klee Kai are recognized by the UKC, so you would want a UKC registered puppy if you do find one. Mia is, their parents have to be UKC registered in order to register the puppy, right? So Mia is UKC registered. So if you were looking for a puppy online, I don't suggest going to like Puppy Finder or like a puppy store or something, because most likely they came from a backyard breeder or like an inhumane type of breeding, or they could even be a mix or like a mutt, because if the puppy is not UKC registered, most likely the parents weren't supposed to be breeding. So either, so let me go backwards. When you purchase a Klee Kai puppy, they have to be either on a breeding contract, which you pay extra for because your intention is to breed them. But of course, these breeders will not sell you a breeding puppy unless you are a real breeder. So if you just say like, oh, I just want a Klee Kai just so I could breed it later in the future, they won't sell it to you. So there's a breeding contract and there's a pet contract. So Mia was actually supposed to be a breeding dog and she was sold to another breeder, but because she has a little kink in her tail, the breeder decided not to have her be bred. So she put her on the pet contract, and then that's how I got Mia. But her brother did get sold to the other breeder, so the other breeder does have her brother. But I got Mia, which is great. But so Mia's on the pet contract, and on that contract you have to spay or neuter your dog. If you don't, then you will not get the paperwork to register your dog. And basically that's like if you break the contract, as in you don't spay and neuter and you end up breeding your dog to another dog, that's breaking the contract. And if your original breeder finds out, they could technically take the dog back, or by doing so, the puppies that your dog creates will not be able to be registered as well. And then that's when the line goes down to like it not being a good set of litter, like a litter, because they're not registered. So usually when you find a puppy that's not registered, they're probably a lot cheaper, and if you do find one that's expensive, then they're basically ripping you off. Because so that's another question, is puppies I've seen range from $1,500 to $3,500. They range based off of location, the breeder, how many dogs they have, their reputation, and sometimes even eye color. I know in California, the dogs are a lot more expensive than other places around the country or the world. I'm not really sure about international, but I feel like it's more expensive international just because there's not very many breeders outside the States. But California is probably the most expensive puppies I've seen. I did not get Mia from a breeder in California. I got her from another breeder. Some breeders will charge the same for every puppy, and most breeders I've seen charge by eye color as well. So the blue eyes will cost an additional $500. And the coloring of their coat shouldn't matter, but it's mostly about the blue eyes. And then these dogs can have the brown eyes, the blue eyes, and a party eye, which is like half, like part of their eye is half blue, half brown, or they could have like a half and half where one eye's blue, one eye's brown. And then they have the typical husky coating. So there's black and white, gray and white, red and white, and then there's all white. All white dogs used to not be considered like the standard, so you wouldn't be able to register the white dogs. But I think after recent happenings, you can now register white Klee Kai. So before they weren't, that wasn't something breeders were looking for. They did not want to have any white genes in their breeding program, but now it is registered, but it's still not part of their like what they really want. So there's that. I'm trying to think of anything else that people have asked. They ask about the price. They ask about where. Also in the description below, there is links that you can look at, and then you want to find a reputable breeder. So there is a list of breeders on one of the websites I put down there that will tell you which breeders you can go, because like I said, going to a puppy store or going to like Craigslist or Puppy Finder or any of those websites are not a good idea. You're gonna get scammed. They'll either charge you full price for a non-registered dog, or you'll find a price that's really good and you're like, oh, you know, like, should I get this one? It's so much cheaper than other ones I find. Just think about it, because, you know, sometimes if it's too good to be true, it's probably not a good idea. The issue with finding or getting a discounted dog, if you are worried about the price, is because they do health testing. So these breeders, they make sure to health test all their dogs. And I think most of the time there's like a health guarantee. So I know at least with Mia, she came with a vet exam and it was marked off by the veterinarian saying that she was in good health before they sent her to me. And then I feel like some breeders, or maybe all breeders, have like a guarantee to make sure like within a certain time frame your puppy's good. If not, then kind of like you have to either, if the puppy happens to still live but is not healthy, you could send the puppy back to the breeder and then maybe get another one or something. I'm not really sure how that works, but I've seen it been posted like on Facebook and stuff about regarding those issues. But if you buy from, you know, Craigslist or Puppy Finder or Pet Store, will they give you that guarantee? Will they, you know, make sure your puppy's healthy and all that? You just never know, because the breeders from that list care a lot about the breed. They want to make sure, you know, all their puppies are healthy and good and stuff like that, because we are a tight-knit family. We all like talk to each other on a daily basis because, you know, on the Facebook group and stuff. But if you go to a puppy store or a Puppy Finder, they're just there to make money off of you. They honestly don't care what happens to the dog after you get it. That's my opinion. Mia, come up here. Come up here. She just wants to play. Come up here, Mia. Good girl, so everyone can see you. Yeah, so I do not suggest going the cheaper route. And another thing you have to think of is, if buying a puppy is out of your budget, I don't think it's the right time for you to buy a dog, just because the price of a puppy is the least of your concerns. You know, that price is just a one-time fee, but then there's a lot of things that come in after the dog, because all the vet visits, the spay neutering when you do it, the food, the toys, the flea medication, and then all the accidents and stuff. You know, if you have pet rent or just all the other stuff, it does build up over time. And of course, if there is an accident, can you afford to pay the vet bills or the surgery or whatever? I mean, Mia is on insurance. She has pet insurance. We pay about $25 to $30 a month for her insurance, you know. And then with these dogs, they require a lot of exercise. It's just like a husky. You know, you have to exercise your huskies, or the energy gets built up and they can like tear your house apart and stuff. But so yeah, they are active dogs, and you need to exercise them. So a lot of people also, oh, another thing, they are severely have like separation anxiety, like really bad. And I'm pretty sure, I'm gonna say like 65% of the Klee Kai fam send their dogs to daycare, because, and on a daily basis, because their dogs cannot be alone. They tend to cry really loud. They're very vocal, and people who go to work all day can't leave their dogs at home because they get complaints. A lot of people have said like they either had to give up their dog, or they were getting like an eviction notice because people just couldn't stand their dogs like howling all day. Luckily, I work from home, and Mia, I trained her very well, so she doesn't have separation anxiety. but she's a very rare one. Most people cannot get their dogs to be okay with being alone, so they have to send them to daycare every day, which can become very expensive. I do know a couple of people who had to get rid of their Klee Kai because they couldn't solve the separation anxiety problem, even though they would run their dog every day. They would turn the TV on, they would play music, they would give them toys, give them the Kong with peanut butter or a bully stick. They tried many different things, and they couldn't like get it to work. Basically, the dog just, these dogs were bred to be companion dogs. They are not working dogs like the Malamute or a husky. They just love to be around their people, and that's why we call them a companion dog, because as you can tell, like, she just likes to be around me. She likes to cuddle. Everywhere I go, she follows me right behind. She's like my shadow. If I sit on the couch, she'll come to the couch. If I walk to my chair, she'll go and sleep on my foot. You know, she cuddles with me in bed. And these dogs are very clingy. We also like to call them a Velcro dog because they stick to you and they stick to their one person. So another segue is they do not like strangers. So if you like a dog that's outgoing, like a golden retriever or a Labrador or something, this dog is not for you. They are more like one person oriented. They have their one person that they stick to, and that's their person. I have a fiance. She tolerates him, but she doesn't ever really listen to him if I'm around. So because I'm her person, she follows me, she listens to me, and she could care less about him. Unless I am gone, then that's when she follows him. So that's a thing that I did notice, because I did have my fiance's family watch her while we would go out and stuff. And she would follow me, and then if I'm gone, she follows him. If he's gone, she'd find the next person, which was his dad, and then she would follow his dad around all day. And then when he left, she went and followed his sister. So she just finds that one person to stick to, and that's how these dogs are. They are very clingy, and if you're okay with that, you know, I mean, a lot of people love dogs who like to cuddle, right? But the issue is they're not super like open-minded to other people. So they are very skittish and very shy and afraid. So Mia, I mean, I worked a lot in trying to socialize her as a puppy. I tried to make sure I took her everywhere, let everybody pet her and hold her so she was used to strangers. However, she's still not very good around kids. She does not like any kids that try to like run up to her and pet her. She freaks out. She tries to run away. Sometimes she'll try to bite them. That's another issue besides separation anxiety. People also are kind of like half and half with their dogs being okay with kids or not being okay with kids. So you have to think about that as well. Mia also has a thing with picking who she likes and who she doesn't. There are some people who she chooses to dislike, and she tries to bite them for no reason, really. It's just they're very particular with who they just want to be around. Trying to think of anything else. Like I said, they're very vocal. So certain things like I know a lot of people who can't wash their dog or groom their dog. They have to take them to the professional groomer because their dogs scream and cry. People say like they're afraid that their neighbors are thinking like they're torturing their dog because they cry like bloody murder. Luckily, again, I think I hit the jackpot with Mia because Mia likes the water. She doesn't cry. She jumps into the shower and she just sits there. She enjoys the water. So I never had a problem with that. But honestly, I feel like I'm a very rare one just because most of the dogs that I've learned from my Facebook group, I'm gonna say like 95% of the dogs do not like water, and they cannot like wash them and stuff. So there's that to think about. I mean, I know the dogs are like cute to look at, but it is a something you really have to do your research on and think about, just because this breed is very hard to take care of. I've had many dogs in my life. I've had maybe like over 15 dogs, and Mia, I think she's the best dog, of course, because I put a lot of training into her, but she's just like, her personality is cute and everything, but she's also the most difficult dog I've ever had. These dogs are very high maintenance, so it's something that you have to kind of commit yourself to, and they live for a long time. I think they live for like at least 15 years. Let me see. I thought I saw it here somewhere. Yes, the Klee Kai lives between 12 to 16 years. So if you do get one, you know, it is a long time commitment. And I mean, they are the best dogs to me, just because after you do train them to do exactly what you want and what you're expecting, it's very rewarding. So there's something to think about. And of course, with there's, I guess, something I should mention, with all breeds there's certain health concerns that you have to think about. So with the Klee Kai, there's something called the FVII deficiency, and then they have like some patella concern and stuff like that. So I'm just mentioning that, so if you do look into a breeder, you want to ask them questions about that, because that is a common thing with Klee Kai. But with any breed, there's always some type of health concern that you want to look out for, but those are the ones that people usually mention when they look for a puppy. And I think that's it. I mean, I kind of just went on a rant and just went off like what on the top of my head, really. I should have prepared more with a list, but people were asking me about the temperament, what it's like having a Klee Kai. So I kind of just combined both of my experience and what I learned over the last 2 years with Mia. Another thing is, people ask, do they shed? Yes, of course. Like huskies and any double-coated dog, she sheds like crazy. Another thing that I say I'm lucky with is that Mia is thin coated. So she does have a double coat, so she's an undercoat and a top coat. She's chilling over here. Mia, come over here. Come over here. There you go. So if you can tell, she has a thin coat. So if you think about like a really fluffy husky, that's like the thicker fluffy coat, right? With her, she has a thin coat year round, so it is April, it's, you know, almost summer, but so you'd think that they would start losing their fur, but honestly, this is her coat. Come here. This is her coat year round. She doesn't get any fluffier, which we were lucky. I was wondering when she would become fluffier. When she was a puppy, people said, you know, you gotta wait like 2 to 3 years. But I honestly don't think she's gonna get any fluffier. I think that's just the way she's gonna look, and I was a little disappointed in the beginning. However, now I do appreciate her thin coat because there's less fur for me to take care of. If you have a fluffy coated Klee Kai, it's just like any other fluffy coated, you know, dog. When they blow their coat, you know, it's gonna fly out everywhere. They do shed a lot. People brush their dogs, you know, weekly or even almost daily, every other day, I don't know. Luckily with Mia, because she doesn't shed nearly as much as the other dogs, I don't have to groom her very often. I groom her kind of like when I shower her, I guess. Oh, and with these dogs, okay, what I find a little gross is I know a lot of people say that they wash their dogs like twice a year or so because their dogs don't smell, which is true. These dogs do not smell. For some reason, I think with their double coat, they don't retain the odor because it kind of just slides right off their top coat. So when we used to live in Washington, it would be like raining and muddy. Her arms, see how they're white? She would come home with like brown arms. But by the time we got back to the apartment, her paws were white again. Like all the dirt just slid right off. and if she was soaking wet when we left the dog park, she would be pretty much dry by the time we got home. So their top coat really helps. And then they don't really smell, so I understand when people say like they don't wash their dogs for a very long time. However, Mia sleeps on our bed, and I find it really gross if she doesn't get a bath like at least once a month or so, just because all that dirt and grime does build up. Even though she doesn't smell, there's still like dirt in there. So when I do wash her, the water does turn brown and all that. So there is dirt. It's just you can't tell if you base it off of smell or scent. So they don't. So that's like a good thing. However, you do get like a lot of tumbleweeds in the house of fur and stuff like that. But like I said, luckily she's thin coated, so we don't get too much. We still have to vacuum relatively often. But I know other people who have like the thick coated dogs have a lot of fur in their house. But I think that's about it. I've been talking for a long time. Let's see. They are very smart too. So they are quick learners. She learns her commands, like any new command that I teach her, she learns within 5 minutes because they're just very intelligent. But they're also very stubborn. So another thing is like if you want a dog that's gonna listen to you all the time, every single time, it might be a little difficult with these dogs because they are like stubborn and hard-headed. They kind of just want to do things on their own. And it also depends on how you train them, because if you like spoil them and are lenient and you let them do whatever you want and call the shots, then I don't think you're going to be able to get them to listen. If you're more strict, so I do spoil her, but I'm also very strict, and I make sure she knows that I'm the boss. I make sure she knows I'm the alpha. So that's the, that's another thing, because, so I'm the alpha, she basically thinks she's the beta, and she thinks that she's higher than my fiance, because my fiance doesn't like to, be strict with her, I guess. He kind of lets her get away with anything she wants, and so she's not afraid of him. So she nips at him, and she tries to bite him and stuff, but she doesn't bite me because I don't let her get away with that. I never have. So that's a thing. As I was talking, I was gonna say something else. I was gonna let you guys know. Mia, come here. Oh, come here. You wanna say hi to everybody? Do you wanna say hi? Yeah? So cute, aren't ya? Aren't you so cute? Huh? I needed to remember what I was gonna say. Where was I gonna see, Mia? What was I gonna say? Oh, I remember. These dogs are flight risk, or well, not like flying. More like they love to run away. They have a high prey drive, like a wolf, right? So a thing is they run away, and a lot of people do give warnings saying that once they get out, if they go into their prey drive, they kind of run off and just don't come back. I forgot the specific term. I think it's like just called like go wild, I guess, where like if they see a squirrel or something and then they chase it, you're gonna have a very hard time getting your dog back, just because they go wild, and then there's like this look in their eye where they just want to hunt the prey, and they just run off. And that's a statistic, is that the highest rate of death for a Klee Kai is through like a car accident, because these dogs run off all the time, and most of the time when they do run, they're gonna run through the street because they don't care. They're just running, and then that's when a car hits them. So I guess like the highest statistics of their death is from a car. We actually just had a scare 2 days ago because she got loose. We live in an apartment complex, so luckily it's like gated, so she can't really run anywhere, but there's a neighbor, and she found their cat, so she really wanted to say hi to the cat, and I wouldn't let her, and I made her go inside. And then so when I opened the door a couple hours later, she ran out, was looking for the cat. She found the cat. She chased it around the entire complex. I couldn't get her back. she would not listen. So usually she's pretty good with her commands, and she'll come back. I used to let her walk around loose, off leash around the apartment, but now that this neighbor moved in and they let their cat roam around, I don't let her do that anymore. So basically, once she was looking for that cat, her commands and training just went down the drain. She didn't listen. We couldn't catch her. Anytime we walked near her, she would run away, just like, you know, like a wild dog that you couldn't catch. So that is a thing where a lot of people are afraid that their dog will get loose, and most people think it's your dog, call it back, and it should come back. But no, these dogs usually will not come back unless you perfect their recall and they can like recognize like your call just like that and come back. But most of the time, when their mind is set on prey, they run off. And it's just, they're so fast, they're quick. Like when they take Mia to the dog park, everybody says she's so fast. Like she can outrun most of the dogs at the dog park. I never really see a dog faster than her. So like example of how fast they really do run. Oh, Mia, no, you don't chew on that. Come here. So mischievous. Yes, another thing. They're very mischievous and they love to get into things. They love to eat your trash. You know, you always have to watch them and make sure that they're not getting into trouble. They don't like to sit still, as you can tell. They like to look for things to chew on and whatnot. But like I was saying, these dogs run away very easily. They also dig underneath fences, so people sometimes have to put like bricks or something along the bottom of their fence because they'll dig underneath and go around, or they are very good jumpers, so then they'll jump over the fence and run off. So people have to build like 6-foot tall fences and stuff. I think that's about everything. I mean, I'm just trying to give you guys a little bit of here and there. If you guys have any other questions, just let me know in the comments below. I hope I kind of gave you guys an insight on what it's like to own a Klee Kai. I mean, they are great dogs, but there's a lot to it that people don't realize, and which is why a lot of Klee Kai end up having to get rehomed and get like adopted, because people like the dog, they buy the dog, and then they don't realize how difficult the dog is, and then they just give it away or whatnot. But yeah, hope you guys found this video helpful, and just let me know if you have any other questions. All right, bye.